It was a Saturday afternoon when it all changed. I had finally gotten around to installing the new home security system I'd bought online. Emily and I had been talking about it for weeks, mostly for peace of mind rather than any real concern. Our neighborhood was quiet, our neighbors friendly, a suburban idyll we'd both grown accustomed to over the years. As I tinkered with the wires and connected the cameras, I noticed a small glitch in the system, a notification that shouldn't have been there. Curious, I tapped the screen, expecting maybe a false alarm from a passing cat or a neighborhood kid playing a prank. What I saw next froze me in place. It was a scene unfolding in our living room, our familiar sofa and the coffee table where we'd shared countless evenings together. But this time, it wasn't just us. Emily was there, laughing, her laughter, a sound I knew so well, now haunting me. And next to her was a man, Mark, someone I recognized from the gym, someone I had exchanged nods with, never suspecting anything beyond casual acquaintance. They were close, closer than friends should be, his arm draped around her shoulders, her hand resting on his knee. Their laughter, their intimacy, it was a slap in the face, a betrayal that cut through years of trust like a knife. I watched in disbelief, my heart pounding in my chest, my hands trembling as I rewound the footage, hoping against hope that it was a mistake, a misunderstanding. But there it was, undeniable, staring back at me in pixelated clarity. I stumbled back from the screen, feeling the weight of what I'd just witnessed crash over me like a tidal wave. How long had this been going on? How could she do this to us, to me, after all these years? The questions swirled in my mind, but the answers were elusive, drowned out by the echoes of their laughter echoing through our once happy home. I didn't confront her right away. Instead, I sat there, staring at the frozen image on the screen, trying to process the enormity of what I'd just discovered. Our marriage, our life together. It felt like a facade crumbling around me, leaving behind a gaping hole of betrayal and uncertainty. For days after that fateful discovery, I moved through a fog of shock and disbelief. Every moment felt surreal, as if I were trapped in a nightmare from which I couldn't wake up. I confronted Emily the very next day. The video burned in my mind, replaying over and over like a relentless loop. I couldn't understand how she could do this to us, to our family. She tried to explain, her voice breaking with guilt and shame. She blamed the monotony of our marriage, my long hours at work, and our gradual drift apart. But no excuse could justify what I had seen. The hurt ran deeper than words could reach. I wanted to scream at her, to demand answers, but the pain held me back. Instead, I retreated into a numb silence, retreating to the spare bedroom while we both grappled with the wreckage of our marriage. Days turned into nights filled with restless sleep and haunted dreams. I couldn't eat, couldn't concentrate on anything but the betrayal that had shattered my world. Our once loving home felt like a battleground, each room echoing with the silence of unspoken accusations. Friends and family noticed the change in me, the distant look in my eyes, the hollow smile I forced when asked how I was doing. I withdrew from social gatherings, unable to face the questions or the pitying glances. In those moments of solitude, I found myself questioning everything I thought I knew about Emily and our marriage. How could I have missed the signs? Were there signs at all, or had I simply been blind to the truth? The pain of betrayal cut deep, a wound that seemed to fester with each passing day. Anger bubbled beneath the surface, threatening to erupt at any moment. But more than anger, it was the overwhelming sense of loss that gripped me. The loss of trust, of intimacy, of the future I had imagined with Emily by my side. As the days turned into weeks, I struggled to find a way forward. The shock of her betrayal had left me adrift, grasping for solid ground in a sea of uncertainty. But one thing was clear: nothing would ever be the same again. It took me several days to muster the strength for a face-to-face confrontation with Emily. Each passing moment added layers of pain and resentment, but I knew I couldn't continue avoiding the inevitable. I found her in the kitchen one evening, chopping vegetables for dinner. The familiar sight should have brought a sense of comfort, but instead, it intensified the ache in my chest. "Emily," I began, my voice trembling with suppressed emotion. She turned to me, her eyes widening as she sensed the seriousness of the moment. "What is it?" Her voice was cautious, uncertain, as if she already knew what was coming. I took a deep breath, steeling myself against the tidal wave of emotions threatening to overwhelm me. "I need to talk to you," I said quietly, motioning for her to follow me to the living room. We sat down, facing each other across the coffee table that had witnessed countless conversations, laughter, and shared moments. But this time, the air between us was heavy with unspoken words and unshed tears. I didn't waste time beating around the bush. "I saw the video, Emily," I said bluntly, my gaze locking with hers. "I saw you with Mark." Her face paled, the color draining from her cheeks as she processed my words. For a moment, there was silence, a deafening silence that spoke volumes. I'm sorry," she finally managed to whisper, her voice barely audible. Tears welled up in her eyes, betraying the depth of her guilt and regret. "Sorry." The word echoed in my mind, hollow and insufficient against the backdrop of betrayal. "Sorry doesn't change what happened," I replied, my voice steady despite the storm raging inside me. She tried to explain, stumbling over her words as she attempted to justify her actions. She spoke of loneliness, of feeling neglected, of seeking something she thought was missing in our marriage. But her words fell on deaf ears, drowned out by the overwhelming sense of betrayal that gnawed at my soul. I wanted to scream, to lash out at her for destroying everything we had built together. But anger gave way to a profound sadness, a sorrow born not only from her betrayal, but from the shattered dreams and broken promises that lay scattered at our feet. "I don't know if I can forgive you," I admitted, my voice cracking with emotion. "I don't know if I can ever trust you again." Her tears fell freely now, mingling with mine as we sat in the silence of our fractured marriage. The weight of her betrayal hung heavy in the air, casting a shadow over the life we had once shared. For the first time since I had discovered the truth, I allowed myself to acknowledge the depth of the pain I felt. It was a pain that went beyond words, a pain that would shape the course of our lives in ways we couldn't yet comprehend. In the days following our confrontation, I found myself engulfed in a tumultuous sea of emotions. Every waking moment was a battle between anger, sadness, and disbelief, each emotion crashing against the shores of my shattered heart. The nights were the worst. Sleep eluded me, replaced by restless tossing and turning as my mind replayed scenes from the video over and over again. I couldn't escape the image of Emily and Mark together, their laughter echoing in the empty spaces of our once happy home. During the day, I went through the motions of life, going to work, running errands, pretending to be okay. But inside, I was crumbling. My appetite disappeared, replaced by a hollow ache in the pit of my stomach that no amount of food could fill. Friends and family reached out, offering words of comfort and support, but their well-meaning gestures only served to remind me of the gaping hole in my life. I withdrew into myself, seeking solace in moments of solitude, where I could confront the rawness of my emotions without the need to put on a brave face. I found myself questioning everything: our marriage, our shared memories, even my own judgment. How could I have been so blind to the cracks in our relationship? Had I been so consumed by work and routine that I failed to see the warning signs? Anger simmered beneath the surface, a volatile mix of resentment and betrayal that threatened to consume me. I wanted to scream, to lash out at Emily for tearing apart our family, but each outburst was met with a crushing wave of sorrow and regret. In those moments of emotional turmoil, I clung to fragments of normalcy, a routine that offered fleeting moments of distraction from the chaos within. But no matter how busy I kept myself, the pain remained, a constant companion in the quiet moments when the world faded into the background. I sought refuge in old habits, a morning run through the neighborhood, an evening spent lost in books that offered temporary escape from my reality. Yet, even amidst the distractions, Emily's betrayal loomed large, casting a shadow over everything I did. As the days stretched into weeks, I found myself grappling with the enormity of what had happened. Our marriage, once a pillar of strength and stability, now lay in ruins, shattered by the revelation of infidelity. And as I navigated the wreckage of our relationship, I realized that the journey to healing would be long and uncertain, a path fraught with pain and difficult choices. But amidst the emotional turmoil, one thing remained clear: I couldn't continue living in limbo. I needed to confront the reality of our situation, to find a way forward, even if it meant facing the harsh truths that awaited me on the other side. In the midst of my emotional turmoil, I found solace in the steady presence of my best friend, Jake. He had been my confidant since childhood, a rock-solid presence in my life through thick and thin. One evening, after another long day of grappling with my emotions in silence, I reached out to Jake. He answered on the first ring, his voice a comforting balm amidst the chaos raging inside me. "Hey man, how are you holding up?" Jake's concern was palpable, even through the phone. I took a deep breath, trying to steady my trembling voice. "Not great," I admitted, the weight of my words heavy in the silence that followed. "What happened?" Jake's voice was gentle, coaxing me to share the burden that had been weighing me down. I hesitated, unsure of where to begin. How could I put into words the betrayal, the heartbreak, the shattered dreams? But with Jake, there was no need for pretense. I poured out everything: the discovery of the video, Emily's confession, the emotional turmoil that had consumed me in the days since. Jake listened in silence, offering words of understanding and support when I faltered. He didn't judge or offer quick-fix solutions. Instead, he simply listened, allowing me to unpack the jumble of emotions that threatened to overwhelm me. "I can't believe she did this," I finally admitted, my voice raw with pain. "After all these years—" "I'm so sorry, man," Jake said softly. "I can't imagine how you must be feeling right now." His words offered a small measure of comfort in the midst of my turmoil. For the first time since discovering Emily's betrayal, I didn't feel completely alone. Jake's unwavering support reminded me that I didn't have to navigate this storm alone. Over the days that followed, Jake became my anchor in the storm. We spent hours talking about Emily, about our shared memories, about the future that now seemed uncertain. He offered practical advice and a shoulder to lean on when the weight of my emotions threatened to crush me. But more than that, Jake reminded me of who I was outside of my marriage: the loyal friend, the dedicated worker, the person who deserved happiness and respect. In his presence, I found moments of respite from the turmoil that had consumed me, fleeting glimpses of normalcy amidst the chaos. As I confided in Jake, I began to see a glimmer of hope amid the wreckage of my marriage. His unwavering support gave me the strength to consider the next steps, to confront the reality of my situation with a newfound sense of clarity and purpose. But above all, Jake's friendship became a lifeline, a reminder that no matter how dark the storm, I didn't have to weather it alone. As the initial shock and emotional turmoil began to settle, a new simmering anger took its place. It wasn't just anger at Emily's betrayal, but a deep-seated fury at the injustice of it all. The years of trust shattered in an instant. I found myself consumed by thoughts of revenge. The need for justice burned within me like a relentless fire, driving me to seek retribution for the pain Emily had inflicted upon me and our family. With Jake's cautious counsel in mind, I began to plan meticulously. I knew that my revenge had to be calculated, precise, a testament to the severity of Emily's betrayal and a warning to anyone who dared to cross me. The first step was gathering evidence. I had already captured the damning video, but I needed more. Proof of Emily's affair, timestamps, messages, phone records. Every piece of evidence became a brick in the foundation of my plan. I invested in surveillance software, tracking Emily's movements discreetly, documenting every suspicious interaction with Mark or any other potential paramour. The once trusting husband now transformed into a silent observer, gathering intel with the patience of a hunter stalking its prey. Financial preparations followed. Quietly, I consulted with a lawyer, safeguarding our joint assets and securing my financial future. I moved funds into separate accounts, preparing for the inevitable legal battle that lay ahead. But revenge wasn't just about legalities and financial maneuvers. It was about striking where it would hurt the most: Emily's reputation and her sense of security. I meticulously planned a public revelation, a moment of reckoning that would expose her betrayal to our circle of friends and family. The days were consumed with plotting and scheming, each action a calculated move in the grand chess game of vengeance. Anger fueled my determination, driving me forward when doubt threatened to creep in. But amidst the planning and preparation, a part of me questioned the cost of revenge. Was this truly the path to healing, or was I only prolonging the pain? Jake's voice echoed in the back of my mind, urging caution, reminding me of the fine line between justice and obsession. Yet with each piece of evidence gathered, each plan meticulously laid out, I felt a sense of control, a semblance of power, in a situation that had left me feeling powerless. Revenge became my lifeline, a way to reclaim my dignity and self-respect in the wake of Emily's betrayal. As I delved deeper into my preparations, I knew that the road ahead would be fraught with consequences. But I was willing to pay the price, to confront Emily with the same ruthlessness with which she had shattered our marriage. Armed with determination and a growing sense of purpose, I delved deeper into gathering evidence of Emily's betrayal. Each piece of information, each detail meticulously documented, became a crucial puzzle piece in my quest for justice. Surveillance became my ally. I monitored Emily's phone calls, tracked her GPS movements discreetly, and sifted through her messages with a forensic eye. The once intimate details of our lives now revealed a darker truth, a web of lies and deceit woven beneath the facade of our marriage. Late nights were spent poring over phone records, analyzing timestamps and call durations. I cross-referenced dates with my own memories, piecing together a timeline of Emily's interactions with Mark and anyone else who dared to trespass on what was once sacred ground. Photographs became damning evidence. I captured covert snapshots of Emily and Mark together, affectionate gestures, stolen moments of intimacy that painted a picture far removed from the fidelity and trust I had once believed in. Digital trails led me deeper into the heart of Emily's betrayal. I unearthed emails, social media messages, each one a breadcrumb leading me closer to the truth. The weight of each discovery settled heavily on my shoulders, a reminder of the depth of Emily's deception. But amidst the relentless pursuit of evidence, doubt gnawed at the edges of my resolve. Was I becoming what I despised? A vengeful husband consumed by the need for retribution? Jake's cautionary voice echoed in my mind, urging me to tread carefully, to consider the consequences of my actions. Yet with each piece of evidence gathered, I felt a perverse sense of satisfaction, a validation of the suspicions that had plagued me since that fateful discovery. The evidence became my shield, my weapon in the impending battle for justice. Legal consultations became a regular occurrence. I sought advice on protecting my assets, on securing a favorable outcome in the inevitable divorce proceedings. The law became my ally, a tool to wield against Emily's betrayal with cold, calculated precision. But beneath the facade of control and determination, a storm brewed within me. Anger and hurt simmered beneath the surface, threatening to erupt at any moment. The weight of Emily's betrayal grew heavier with each new piece of evidence, a burden I carried with a mix of resignation and righteous indignation. As I delved deeper into the dark recesses of Emily's betrayal, I knew that the road ahead would be fraught with challenges. But I was committed to uncovering the truth, to exposing Emily's infidelity and holding her accountable for the pain she had inflicted upon me and our family. With the evidence of Emily's betrayal meticulously gathered, I turned my attention to securing our financial future, a battleground where every move was strategic, every decision calculated to protect my assets and ensure a favorable outcome in the impending divorce. The first step was consultation with a lawyer, an expert in marital law who could navigate the complexities of divorce proceedings with expertise and discretion. I met with several attorneys, selecting one whose reputation for tenacity and thoroughness matched my determination to seek justice. Together, we reviewed our financial situation, joint accounts, investments, properties, all the assets that Emily and I had accumulated over the years of our marriage. The once trusting partnership now dissected with clinical precision, each asset scrutinized for its potential role in the divorce settlement. I took proactive measures to safeguard our joint finances. Quietly, I began transferring funds into separate accounts under my name, ensuring that Emily would not have access to assets that I had worked hard to build. It was a move born not out of greed, but out of necessity, to protect my future and the stability I had fought so hard to maintain. Property evaluations followed, a meticulous process of appraisals and assessments to determine the value of our home, our investments, our shared possessions. Every dollar was accounted for, every asset cataloged as I prepared for the division of our marital estate. But amidst the financial calculations and legal maneuvers, a sense of sadness lingered, a reminder of the life we had once shared, now reduced to a series of financial transactions and legal negotiations. The reality of our impending divorce settled heavily upon me, a weight that no amount of preparation could fully alleviate. Yet, I pressed forward with resolve. Legal documents were drafted detailing the terms of our separation, custody arrangements for our children, if any, spousal support considerations, and the division of assets. Each clause was scrutinized, negotiated, and agreed upon with the same meticulous care that had guided my gathering of evidence. In the quiet moments between meetings and consultations, I reflected on the significance of what I was doing. The financial preparations were not just about protecting my assets, they were about asserting my dignity and reclaiming a sense of control in the wake of Emily's betrayal. But beneath the surface of legalities and financial strategies, a part of me wondered if there could ever be true closure. Could justice, even if served coldly and methodically, heal the wounds of a broken heart? It was a question that lingered in the shadows, haunting me as I navigated the uncertain terrain of divorce and dissolution. The stage was set, a 4th of July barbecue, an annual tradition that had once been a celebration of family, friendship, and patriotism. But this year, the festivities carried a weight of anticipation and apprehension, tinged with the simmering tension of a revelation waiting to unfold. I had carefully orchestrated the event, inviting our closest friends and family members under the guise of a traditional summer gathering. The air buzzed with laughter and the aroma of grilled food, masking the undercurrent of tension that pulsed beneath the surface. As the sun began its descent, casting a golden hue over the backyard, I took a deep breath, steeling myself for the moment that would irrevocably change the course of our lives. Emily stood beside me, unaware of the storm brewing within me, her smile strained but hopeful amidst the gathering of familiar faces. With a steady hand, I connected the laptop to the outdoor projector, the same projector we had used for countless movie nights and outdoor screenings. But this time, the screen would illuminate a different kind of truth, a truth that lay buried beneath layers of deceit and betrayal. The chatter softened to a murmur as the first image flickered to life on the screen. A familiar living room, our living room, bathed in the soft glow of lamplight. Emily's laughter echoed through the speakers, a sound that once brought me joy, but now cut through the air like a knife. Faces turned toward the screen, confusion and curiosity mingling in their expressions as they watched the scene unfold. Emily's smile faltered as recognition dawned upon her, her hand instinctively reaching out to mine in a silent plea for understanding. But there was no mercy in the revelation that followed. The video played, Emily and Mark laughing, touching, their intimacy laid bare for all to see. Gasps of disbelief rippled through the crowd, mingling with murmurs of shock and sympathy. Emily's face drained of color, her eyes wide with horror, as the undeniable truth of her betrayal played out before our audience. Mark, who had joined us under the pretense of friendship, stood frozen, his expression a mask of guilt and shame. I stood beside Emily, my own heart heavy with sorrow and anger. The weight of the moment pressed down upon us, a collective reckoning that exposed the fractures in our once perfect facade. Words were exchanged, accusations, denials, apologies that rang hollow against the backdrop of betrayal. Friends and family took sides, their support divided between us, as the fallout of Emily's infidelity reverberated through our circle. In the midst of the chaos, I remained resolute. This public revelation was not just about exposing Emily's betrayal, it was about reclaiming my dignity, asserting the truth that had been obscured by lies and deceit. As the last echoes of the video faded into silence, I turned away from the screen, my gaze fixed on Emily. The woman I had loved, the woman who had shattered my trust and broken our vows, stood before me, a shadow of the person I thought I knew. But amidst the wreckage of our marriage, amidst the tears and the shattered illusions, a glimmer of clarity emerged. The public revelation marked a turning point, a line drawn in the sand between the past we had shared and the uncertain future that lay ahead. In the aftermath of the public revelation, the once steady facade of our lives shattered completely. What had begun as a 4th of July celebration had turned into a battlefield of emotions and accusations, leaving behind a trail of shattered trust and fractured relationships. As the dust settled, I focused my attention on the next phase of my plan, legal action. Armed with the evidence of Emily's infidelity and the support of my legal counsel, I initiated divorce proceedings with a sense of determination and purpose. Legal documents were filed, outlining the terms of our separation, division of assets, custody arrangements for our children, if any, and considerations for spousal support. Each clause was a testament to the meticulous preparation that had preceded it, a strategic move to protect my interests and secure a fair resolution. Emily, too, enlisted legal representation, a move that underscored the seriousness of our dissolution. The once intimate conversations that had defined our marriage now gave way to negotiations mediated through lawyers, each side advocating for their respective positions with calculated precision. The courtroom became the arena where our marriage would be dissected and adjudicated, a place of solemnity and finality where decisions would be made that would shape the course of our futures. Witnesses were called, testimonies exchanged, and grievances aired with a clarity that cut through the emotional haze that had clouded our lives. Friends and family members, once united in celebration, now found themselves divided by allegiances as they navigated the fallout of Emily's betrayal. Yet amidst the legal wrangling and negotiations, a part of me struggled with the weight of what was unfolding. Divorce was not just the dissolution of a legal contract. It was the unraveling of a life I had once believed to be secure and enduring. But with each passing day, I found solace in the clarity that legal action provided. It was a process that demanded accountability, a reckoning for Emily's betrayal, and a validation of the pain and suffering it had caused. As the legal proceedings progressed, I held fast to the belief that justice, however imperfect, would prevail. The courtroom became my sanctuary, a place where the truth of Emily's infidelity would be laid bare, and where I would reclaim a sense of dignity and self-respect in the wake of her betrayal. But as I navigated the uncertain terrain of divorce and dissolution, I knew that the road ahead would be fraught with challenges. Legal battles were waged not just in the courtroom, but within the recesses of my heart, a struggle to reconcile the shattered pieces of a marriage that had once defined my sense of self and identity. Amidst the legal battles and the public revelation of Emily's betrayal, the emotional fallout continued to reverberate through our lives like aftershocks from an earthquake. Each day brought a new wave of emotions: anger, sadness, confusion, and a profound sense of loss. For Emily, the consequences of her actions weighed heavily. Her once vibrant spirit seemed dulled by guilt and shame. Her attempts at reconciliation met with my guarded silence. We navigated the remnants of our shattered marriage with a fragile sense of civility, each interaction tinged with the residue of bitterness and regret. Friends and family members offered their support, but their well-meaning gestures often served as painful reminders of the fractured relationships that had once defined our social circle. Some stood by my side, offering words of encouragement and solidarity, while others struggled to reconcile their loyalty with their empathy for Emily's plight. The children, if any, bore the brunt of our emotional turmoil. Their innocence became collateral damage in the fallout of our divorce, their once stable world now fractured by the upheaval of parental separation. Co-parenting became a delicate dance of schedules and compromises, a testament to our shared commitment to shield them from the pain of our fractured relationship. In the quiet moments of solitude, I grappled with the enormity of what had transpired. The emotional scars left by Emily's betrayal ran deep, a constant reminder of the vulnerability and trust that had been irreparably shattered. Therapy became a lifeline, a safe space where I could unpack the complexity of my emotions, confront the trauma of infidelity, and rebuild a sense of self-worth and resilience. Through counseling, I began to unravel the tangled emotions that had clouded my judgment and fueled my desire for revenge. But healing was not linear. The emotional fallout of Emily's betrayal ebbed and flowed, leaving me to navigate the turbulent waters of grief and acceptance. I sought solace in moments of introspection, finding strength in the realization that my worth was not defined by the actions of another. As time passed, the sharp edges of anger began to soften, replaced by a sense of clarity and introspection. I confronted the painful truths of our marriage, the complacency, the neglect, and the missed opportunities for communication and connection. In the midst of emotional upheaval, I began to redefine my priorities and aspirations. The fallout of Emily's betrayal became a catalyst for personal growth, a journey toward forgiveness, both for her and for myself, and a renewed commitment to cultivating meaningful relationships based on honesty and trust. But amidst the emotional wreckage, a flicker of hope emerged, a belief that, in time, wounds would heal and new beginnings would emerge from the ashes of our shattered marriage. One of the most contentious aspects of our divorce proceedings centered around our home. the house that had once been a sanctuary of shared dreams and memories, now a battleground of legal negotiations and emotional turmoil. As the legal proceedings progressed, the division of our marital assets became a focal point of contention. Our home, nestled in a quiet suburban neighborhood, represented not just bricks and mortar, but the culmination of years of hard work and shared aspirations. I had invested countless hours in maintaining our home, from weekend DIY projects to meticulous landscaping that transformed our backyard into a tranquil retreat. Every corner held echoes of laughter, tears, and the milestones of our life together, a testament to the love and commitment that had once defined our marriage. But amidst the wreckage of betrayal, the house became a symbol of unresolved conflict, a tangible reminder of the life we had built together and the fractures that had ultimately torn us apart. The thought of losing the house, of surrendering a piece of my history and identity, fueled a renewed determination to fight for what I believed was rightfully mine. Legal consultations became more frequent as I strategized with my attorney to secure ownership of the house. We reviewed property valuations, assessed mortgage obligations, and navigated the complexities of property laws with meticulous attention to detail. Emily, too, asserted her claim to the house, a move that underscored the gravity of our separation and the stakes of our legal battle. Each negotiation, each legal maneuver, was a calculated step toward securing a favorable outcome in the division of our marital estate. The courtroom became the arena where our conflicting claims would be adjudicated, a place where the emotional stakes of our divorce collided with the cold realities of property law. Witnesses testified, documents were scrutinized, and arguments were exchanged with a fervor that mirrored the intensity of our fractured relationship. But beneath the legal wrangling, a part of me struggled with the emotional toll of our dispute over the house. It wasn't just about property. It was about reclaiming a sense of stability and security in the wake of Emily's betrayal, about preserving the remnants of a life that had once held so much promise. As the legal proceedings drew to a close, a sense of uncertainty lingered. The fate of our house hung in the balance, a decision that would shape the next chapter of my life and define the boundaries of my newfound independence. But amidst the turmoil, I clung to the belief that justice would prevail. The house, with its walls steeped in memories and its foundation rooted in history, became a battleground where I fought not just for property, but for closure and a sense of resolution in the aftermath of Emily's betrayal. In the aftermath of the public revelation and the ongoing legal battles, a pervasive sense of social isolation settled over me like a heavy blanket. What had once been a vibrant social circle now felt like a minefield of awkward interactions and strained relationships. Friends and acquaintances, once fixtures in our shared social gatherings, now navigated their interactions with caution and uncertainty. Some offered words of sympathy and support, their gestures a lifeline in the midst of emotional turmoil. Others distanced themselves, unable to reconcile their loyalty with the fallout of our fractured marriage. I found myself withdrawing from social engagements, preferring solitude to the uneasy camaraderie of gatherings where conversations inevitably veered toward uncomfortable topics, divorce, betrayal, and the uncertain future that lay ahead. Even within our extended family, fractures emerged. Holiday gatherings and family celebrations became fraught with tension as relatives struggled to navigate the divide between loyalty to Emily and empathy for my pain. Old alliances shifted, allegiances tested, as the fallout of our divorce rippled through generations of shared history. The children, if any, bore the brunt of our fractured relationships. Co-parenting became a delicate dance of schedules and compromises, a testament to our shared commitment to shield them from the emotional fallout of our separation. Yet, their innocence became collateral damage in the aftermath of our fractured marriage, their once stable world now reshaped by the upheaval of parental separation. Therapy became a sanctuary, a safe space where I could unpack the complexity of my emotions, confront the loneliness of social isolation, and rebuild a sense of self-worth and resilience. Through counseling, I began to navigate the turbulent waters of grief and acceptance, finding solace in the realization that my worth was not defined by the actions of others. Yet, amidst the isolation, a flicker of hope emerged, a belief that in time wounds would heal and new connections would emerge from the ashes of shattered relationships. Social isolation became not just a consequence of divorce, but a catalyst for personal growth and introspection, a journey toward rediscovering meaningful connections based on honesty and trust. Amidst the wreckage of divorce and the emotional turmoil that followed, I embarked on a journey of rebuilding, a quest to reclaim my sense of self and forge a new path forward. The first step was reclaiming my independence. With the legal proceedings settled and the division of assets finalized, I took decisive action to establish a new life on my own terms. The house, once a battleground of legal disputes, became a sanctuary of solitude and renewal, a place where I could heal from the wounds of betrayal and rediscover a sense of stability. I immersed myself in new pursuits and passions, reconnecting with hobbies and interests that had taken a back seat during the tumult of marriage and divorce. Photography became a creative outlet, a way to capture moments of beauty and introspection amidst the chaos of rebuilding. Career aspirations took center stage as I pursued new opportunities for professional growth and advancement. With renewed focus and determination, I invested in my career, seizing opportunities for learning and development that had once seemed out of reach. Friendships, too, became a cornerstone of my journey toward rebuilding. I nurtured existing relationships and forged new connections with individuals who shared my values and aspirations. Through shared experiences and mutual support, I found solace in the companionship of those who stood by me during my darkest hours. Therapy continued to be a vital resource, a space where I could explore the complexities of healing and forgiveness, confront lingering emotions, and chart a course toward personal growth and fulfillment. Through counseling, I gained insight into the patterns of behavior and thought that had shaped my past, empowering me to make conscious choices for my future. But amidst the process of rebuilding, a profound sense of gratitude emerged, a recognition of the resilience and strength that had carried me through adversity. Each day became an opportunity to embrace newfound freedoms, to savor moments of joy and contentment that had once seemed elusive. As I navigated the uncertainties of life after divorce, I embraced the journey of self-discovery with a renewed sense of purpose. Rebuilding my life became not just a necessity, but a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a journey toward rediscovering happiness and fulfillment on my own terms. But the road ahead remained uncertain, filled with challenges and opportunities for growth. Yet, with each step forward, I carried with me the lessons learned from the wreckage of my past, a commitment to authenticity, resilience, and the enduring belief that, in the aftermath of heartache, there lies the potential for new beginnings and a brighter tomorrow. As I stood at the threshold of rebuilding my life, I found myself reflecting deeply on the path I had taken, particularly on the pursuit of revenge that had consumed me in the aftermath of Emily's betrayal. Revenge had been a double-edged sword, a source of validation and empowerment in the face of betrayal, yet also a relentless force that had driven me to the brink of obsession. The public revelation, the legal battles, and the emotional fallout had exacted a toll that extended far beyond the confines of my marriage. In moments of solitude, I questioned the true cost of revenge. Had justice been served, or had I merely perpetuated a cycle of pain and suffering? The wounds of betrayal, while justified, had left scars that ran deep, a reminder of the fragile balance between justice and vengeance. Therapy had become a lifeline, a space where I could confront the complexities of forgiveness and healing. Through introspection and guidance, I began to untangle the threads of anger and resentment that had clouded my judgment, finding solace in the realization that true closure lay not in retribution, but in embracing the power of forgiveness. Emily's betrayal had shattered my sense of trust and security, but it had also become a catalyst for personal growth and introspection. I had emerged from the wreckage of my marriage with a newfound resilience, a commitment to forging a future defined by authenticity and self-discovery. As I reflected on the journey that had led me to this moment, I recognized the transformative power of forgiveness. It was not about excusing Emily's actions or forgetting the pain she had caused, but about freeing myself from the chains of bitterness and resentment that had threatened to consume me. The road to healing had been fraught with challenges and uncertainties, yet it had also been illuminated by moments of profound clarity and self-discovery. I had learned that true strength lay not in seeking revenge, but in embracing vulnerability and reclaiming my sense of self-worth. In the quiet moments of reflection, I found peace, a sense of closure that transcended the confines of my past. The journey toward rebuilding my life had been arduous, marked by heartache and triumphs alike, yet it had ultimately led me to a place of acceptance and renewal. As I looked toward the future with optimism and hope, I knew that the scars of betrayal would always be a part of my story. But they were no longer chains that bound me to the past. They were reminders of the resilience and strength that had carried me through adversity. And so, with a heart full of gratitude and lessons learned, I embraced the promise of new beginnings, a testament to the enduring power of forgiveness, resilience, and the unwavering belief that, in the aftermath of heartache, there lies the potential for healing, growth, and a brighter tomorrow.